Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's episode of Things Are Getting Sketchy. It is a little sketchy. We're starting a couple minutes late there. I do apologize for that. As you can see, I'm hosting once again. So those of you who don't recognize me, it is Nathan. And tonight might get a little confusing, so we'll have to be careful on that because we will have Nathan on as well afterwards. And we will also have Philip on as well. He's just running a little bit late. They both are. But who we do have so far is we have Sean. We have Sean Hill with us. Sean, why don't you talk to us about yourself?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's been a while since I've been able to do this, and yeah, I'm just looking to have some fun, relax, draw something that should be pretty fun for me to work on tonight, and yeah, hoping to have a good time.
We will. We will. It's just the two of us so far, so we will make sure it is a blast. So tonight's theme is Marvel DC villains. And Sean, I believe, has decided to draw Sabretooth. Am I correct?
That's right. That's right. I've been drawing him in oh, probably since I was a kid.
Okay.
Probably since then. Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit on what you're going to use, what kind of sketch or what your material is going to be, all that jazz.
Oh yes. I'm gonna keep it simple tonight, but usually when I'm drawing, and my favorite pencil is the Black Wing 602s. So I use this when I really need to get through a drawing. Usually, I'm doing a lot of pencils right now for Marvel for the Bishop War College miniseries. So on a night that I really got to get through, this is what I'm relying on. Um, it's not to get too technical about it, but they have a really good graphites resource that company has. So the pencil lead is pretty soft. Lets me kind of speed through and get really sketchy and not worry about fighting to get graphite down on paper. And this is this Bristol is this is Marvel board, and Marvel's Bristol is really smooth, like very white, very plate finish smooth. So
Okay.
um, it takes a good amount of graphite to be able to comfortably get down on that. So
Well, I know I did it just a couple of minutes ago before we started, but I'd like to do it on air as well. And I know you just kind of briefly mentioned it. Congrats to you on having the brand new X-Men comic out right now, drawn by you. It's been pretty awesome. You should talk about that for a little bit.
oh yes, so I mean the premise of it is simple. Essentially, it's Bishop starting an actual war college on Krakoa to be able to teach some of the younger mutants who haven't had as much battle or fighting experience, how to soldier up and actually fight and defend the island. Um, Suffice to say, he gets a little overboard with how he teaches them, a little over aggressive as he tends to do at times.
Mhm.
And so they don't like it. They absolutely rebel and decide like we're not doing this. And it's a bit of a story about how he has to kind of learn to curb his methods a bit in order to properly work with them, to work as a team and not just a drill sergeant that's traumatized and angry with the world. So
True. And it has a really cool twist ending, which is what kind of makes the book, but I don't want to give that away because that is what's cool about the ending. So um,
oh yeah.
we're getting some comments here, and people congratulating you. We got Casey's congratulating you, and Murray and Stefan as well. Casey has a question for you, art related. She wants to know, um, talk more about the process for your pages. Do you often redraw panels, or do you kind of just go with your gut?
I do redraw panels, so I'm when I'm getting the script and I'm thumbnailing, I really am trying to get the thumbnails as solid as I can. But sometimes it's a thing where like I really need to get the thumbnail for this page done so I can keep moving forward. Um, So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and kind of just lay down a simple idea of it
Mm-hmm.
and just move on. But aside from that, I usually get dissatisfied with that oversimplistic way of doing a particular panel, or maybe it was a better idea that comes along as I'm actually drawing the page, and I just go ahead and redraw it.
That's cool. We gotta add somebody to the chat right away because they've showed up now. Who's that with us now? Is that Nathan or is that Philip? I can't tell here right now, so I don't know. I will copy it and put it in, and I'll guess that it's Nathan.
Oh,
Oh,
I can't hear him yet.
I can tell. That's me.
I don't even think I fully decide which I think I'm just gonna stick to like classic Sabretooth, like the old one, the old outfit he used to wear.
Right. That's the one I like.
It's more fun to draw. um,
All right, we have somebody else with us now. Oh, there we go. No, I got someone else with us. Oh, that is Philip? Oh, I put that under Nathan, sorry. Philip, can you hear me?
what am I doing? I should probably look at my own thumbnail before I make these decisions. No. No.
Do you ever use that blue pencil? One of the artists a couple weeks ago was using that blue pencil, and I know a lot of, like, even on your borders and that has that blue outlining. You just use the regular pencil?
I do sometimes. Okay, so this is gonna be weird. I do use a lot of blue lead, but it's typically for uh, a lot of DC work for some reason. I don't know why. I for Marvel, I typically use a red sketch pencil.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Hey, Phil.
Cool. I'm gonna transfer you over here, Phil.
How's it going?
We've never met before. I'm Nathan. You as well. But he's not here.
My visual.
It looks good. It's
Okay,
skinny,
cool.
but it looks good.
Yeah, I kind of cheated because penciling's rough for me to do in public, and I'm really, really slow when I pencil.
Mhm.
So I am gonna ink. However, I am gonna ink with a brush and a nib because I have no respect for myself.
What are you doing?
I am doing Selena. Selena the Black Queen from the
Okay.
Hellfire Club.
Yeah, I thought you. Yeah.
I've always enjoyed her. She is probably one of my 3 favorite villains against the X-Men. So it seems like tonight's an X night.
Sure.
I think so.
X-Men villains, at least.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I wanna let's give it a shot.
Cool. So I know nothing about you, so why don't you tell me and our audience about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I have been mostly a commercial illustrator. I have done some comics. I mostly travel the con circuit and do work. Honestly, I am pretty much more of a government hack. a lot of my work are for government concept stuff and things that have done things to other countries. And I basically spend a lot of time doing movies, storyboards for mostly independent movies. And on occasion, I'll do magazine illustrations and book illustrations for clients. So,
That's cool.
yeah, most of my comic book stuff tend to be my own, and maybe the occasional, a freelance gig, depending if time permits and they like me. So,
Right.
so
Well, I'll throw the invite up to you, like I did a couple of minutes ago to Sean. You're welcome to come up to the Winnipeg Comic Con in end of October. It's always Halloween weekend, so
I
we had just under 30,000 people
show
last
just
year.
because I've heard good things about all of it. Mm-hmm.
It's been good.
So, yes, I'm excited. It'd be kind of cool to go to. So, okay. All right, let's get started on this bad boy.
Cool. I have a new view this time I never had last time, so I'm going to try it right now, even though 2 artists aren't here yet. But ooh.
Also, let me say, Sean.
Yes.
The War College is great. I actually, so I usually buy digital, but I decided to buy paper on this one, so I killed trees for you.
Oh my God!
Because that is how wonderful that book is.
Thank you, man.
Don't give away the ending of the first issue. We already
no.
Don't give the spoiler away.
No. It was like I said, it was genuinely fun to watch that because again, Bishop is one of my favorite characters from day one when Carlos Pacheco created him.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And his four issue, it wasn't what's not true. I'm sorry, I just thought that all over. Obviously, he was created by Weiss, Potasio, but Bishop ended up doing a 4-issue kind of like backstory on him, and that's probably one of the best looking books I ever saw at the time. So,
yeah.
Well, some of the artwork is on sale from that at Sean. Is it at your website, Sean, or where can they find that?
Yeah, it's just on my website. It's SeanDamianHill.com. It sounds so pretentious to use your name.
Hey, I know.
It's like,
hey man,
like, oh, look at this guy. Like.
So yeah, if anybody wants original page art from the comic that is on the shelf this month, it's been on the shelf for about 2 weeks ago. I reviewed it on the show. I think it was 2 episodes ago. Check out his site.
And there's nothing wrong with 3 names.
Yeah.
What was it? It's worked for Sean Gordon Murphy.
That's right.
Garcia Lopez ain't got a problem with it.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Ooh. We have strayed.
For the police to identify him better.
All right, let me try. Go with the face.
It's actually a funny story why I had to do that. Like I had no intentions of doing that. It's just that like I was getting the website up, and you got to get the name of the website set, and there's like apparently I didn't realize this. There was like 1 million Sean Hills in the world.
Yeah, the reason
and half of them are athletes, and like really good athletes. Like it's just.
And was the real Sean Hill taken already, or?
Oh man, I didn't use that. I should have thought, but I just was like, oh man, maybe I'll just use my middle name, and it'll be, be real simple, right? There wasn't as many Sean Damian Hills as so I just
there were still other Sean Damian Hills.
Yeah, but it's spelled like mine's is spelled with a E-I-E-N. Other people, I think they just use an A. So I was just like, oh, I can get away with it like that. And there were much fewer. So I just went with it, and now I sound like a pretentious jerk artist.
You do not. For what it's worth,
you don't sound pretentious at all.
Exactly.
It's but it does feel good when it like I see my name in credits and stuff, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's
Getting
great.
all fancy with it.
Yeah. Then they'll think I'm like a serious artist.
It still blows my mind when I see artwork that you guys have done out in real stuff, and I'm like, man, I know these people. Like that's what blows my mind. Like I'm reading a comic, I'm like, I know this dude that wrote this comic or illustrated this comic. Like,
yeah, I could.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, I got I think this is still during COVID. It was way back when I did that live stream with Marvel, and it was I got the like we had to do a video chat with their producer, and then Ken Lashley got on, and I almost passed out, and I was like, that's Ken Lashley.
But he's Canadian too, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. I think he lives in Canada. I think it's Toronto.
Pretty sure, yeah.
And I was like, that's Ken Lashley. Legend has it. He could draw 10 pages in 1 week. Man, that's probably not a legend. It's probably actually like his speed.
Mm-hmm. What's weird is that you remember them from the 90s, and then you meet them now, because back in the 90s, you're like, that was amazing meeting them. And then you meet them now, and you're going, you're like real people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was I remember a con, and I was actually with Stefan in Cleveland last year, and I got to meet Mike Grail, and that was like
nice.
I was like, oh my god.
Got a question for you guys here. Question from the audience here, from Casey. She wants to know, what's your guys' speed on pages? She's not able to do more than 1 per 3 days. It seems like that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's about mine too, depending on what it is. My goal this year has been to try to at least get it down to at least a page a day isn't going to happen because I got a regular job. But if I can get a page to a page and a half done in 2 days, I'd be excited. The thing with me is, and I don't know about you, Sean, but the act of storytelling for a page gets really complicated in the sense of there's so many moving parts to make sure it works.
Yeah.
That sometimes for me, it slows me down. And that slows me down during the thumbnail process going, can I say this better? Does that make sense? I don't know.
That makes sense to me. I'm no artist guy. I love all my art and I can appreciate it. And when I need stuff done, I pay guys like you. So
so that's my thing. What's yours, Sean?
I mean, so usually I can get a page done if it's super simple, maybe I can get it done in like maybe 9 or 10 hours. But if it's complicated, that's it's gonna be like days. If it's like the tricky thing for me is when they're like complicated ideas at play and stuff, like if the hero has some kind of time warping ability or something, I'm just like, oh my god.
My favorite is when you do crowd shots, because I go, oh god, he must have suffered trying to get that done, because I know how detail oriented you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, your work's very detailed, Sean. Lots of fine lines. Yeah.
It's it gets me in trouble a lot. It's I say that all the time, but it does. It's like, because I mean I still have a regular job too, and so I come home and I hang out with my family, and then when everyone goes to bed, I start drawing.
What's your regular job, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, I am a assistant manager at Blick Art Materials.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm surrounded by like art supplies all day, and I try not to go broke buying them. I already have like way too many pencils and pens that half of them I'm never going to use.
You could have a showdown with Mike Ruth, man. Mike Ruth has so many supplies, and the way he can talk about supplies and everything, it just blows my mind.
Oh yeah, he is extremely knowledgeable. It's it helps to be though. It helps to be. It's I think that's probably because I was trying to stop myself from like waxing poetic about these Blackwing pencils, but
I mean, I used them for this one.
that looks good.
Yeah, I what was it? Soma got them for me. She got them for my birthday, and I was like, Blackwing pencils. You actually do like me.
Yeah.
Mostly because the fact is, have you ever seen the Blackwing site sometimes? It's honestly like a small cult.
Yeah. I believe that. It is. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's not to say they're bad pencil or it's a bad company. It's just they take pencils real seriously.
Yeah.
Linda Adams is in the chat saying, yeah, but Mike doesn't even use all his art supplies. He's using like sticks and feathers and broken toothpicks and
which is genius on his part.
Sure is. It's
He
like
could just
those guys
use
got pick up things and turn them into instruments and that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the first time you saw your name in credits for something?
Oh man, I mean, really, it was like way back when I started like actually doing like indie comic work. Like I think one of the first books I did, because for some reason I was real ambitious. I thought, man, I could draw really fast. I took on like 2 gigs at once, and it was with indie publisher named St. James Comics. And there was this mini series called Ex Occultus. And they did like, kind of like weekly creepypastas and stuff like that. And it was great. I
Like
wish my artwork was as good as those stories, but it was not back then.
like the stuff you'd see on YouTube, like the creepy stories with all the animated stuff, like that kind of stuff?
Sorta. It was like urban legend stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
And just really old urban legends, like things that would be that would have started in the like Victorian age.
Okay.
So it was that, and I also had managed to get some work with a company out in Atlanta called Terminus Media, and they were producing this book called Amber Fox. And so I was doing these books like back to back, and I was the Amber Fox one eventually got published, and I into a physical book, and I think I saw my name in credits for the first time there. It was super weird. It was really like it's a transcendent experience. It was just like, I did this, like I didn't remember or something. It was weird.
And you, Philip?
So mine was in publishing for a book, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember the publisher anymore. But it was weird because I actually didn't know, because at the time they told, like I said, I do a lot of spec work, and they paid me for it. However, they never told me if they were going to use it.
Right.
So I actually didn't know my book. Well, I should say my art was published in a book until till I saw it in a bookstore where I was working back in the day. And someone goes, "Dude, your name's in the book." And I looked at it and went, "Oh." And the publisher never told me. They never gave me any samples, but when I called him about it, he goes, "Yeah, thanks for sending the stuff in." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
There you go.
Yeah, so most of my, like I said, a lot of, like I said, for magazines and stuff, it's this, again, sometimes you don't know when it's actually going to show up. At least for me anyway, I should say. I'm sure other people probably have more richer experiences, but sorry. But it's like I said, it's fun watching it. I will not lie, I did buy way more versions of that book back in the day when it did, but this was probably much later than Sean's, so I probably would have hit me a little bit more if I still wasn't coming out. And I was overly critical of myself, which I decided to stop doing. And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, I could have done so much better. So
The curse of the artist.
It is, and I just told myself, just be grateful that the work's out there and you did something. So
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a growing experience.
You know, yeah.
It is.
Is there anything you guys could or want to go back in time and tell young versions of yourselves?
Man, probably self-publish something, just to have the experience.
Especially nowadays, it's way easier than it was, especially, even 20, 15, 10 years ago, right? So
yeah. It's far easier than it was like in the 90s, you just had to go to find a printer and a card and hope for the best.
Yeah, right. I remember when I had to basically do the thing with Kinko's.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Basically, what you would do is you basically do the pages that you did, save them, but then you'd have to if you didn't have a fancy printer to go to, you'd actually have to tape them on the back of a larger piece of paper, and basically make I guess this would technically count as an ash can.
Yeah.
The book. Yeah, of the book. Photocopy it. In the version that you want, staple it together. Sometimes you staple. And basically send it off to a publisher to print off those pages the way you pasted them on the thing. It's kind of where paste up concept came from. It's an insane process that.
Hey, that's how the Turtles got started.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that artists were just like, "Yeah, I got that, no problem," pretty much tells you how insane comic artists are.
Yeah, we are insane. Like no one would do this for a living.
Okay, it's not just comic artists; it's every artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you want to hang out with your friends, your family, or people who love you? No, you need to stay home and draw Sabretooth.
And you will have that one moment where, like, your one shining moment is when you got that bumper on that car, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not, honestly, though, that's not to say it. Like, so for me, I have to I'd go back and remind myself to make sure I remember that, that this is still fun.
Yeah.
Because the deadline stuff and the work stuff can kill it sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. It's deadline's real, and it could turn into a job real quick. It could be like, because I'm still working through being super critical on my work, and I want to have everything perfect and nice and all that stuff. And then, most of the time I just have to get the page done.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to kind of accept, progress being better than perfection. So it's like you gotta progress the book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, issue 1 is on the shelf right now for the War College. When did you actually draw that issue?
Oh man. So we think about this because I work a lot.
You told me a little bit earlier you're working on issue 5 right now, right?
Yeah. So that's really about 5 months ago.
So about that 5 months. Is that usually how it goes? A comic is about 5 months in advance?
Yeah, yeah. The only time that you get where you have to get an assignment and they want to push it in the next, like it needs to be out literally in 2 months is or a month and a half or something like that. That's usually a rush assignment. That's usually something happened and they need to get someone quick, or maybe the script took a little longer than expected, or usually they don't want that. They want like especially if it's a mini series or a regular series, they want to have like some lead time
Yeah,
in
issues in
case,
the can.
yeah, in case anything happens.
Sure. Yeah, that's the worst when you got a series going or a mini series going, and then it kind of hits an extended break between issues, and that really kills the momentum.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they don't want to happen. They want everything to show up to the comic book stores on time, because that's how publishers really make their money. Is not specifically selling to the public. It's selling to that store.
Sure.
That store is the one buying them. So um, if they screw the store over, it's gonna be
Mm.
it's gonna be bad.
Stories have been told.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, Sean, can you tell the story of when you met Brian Stelfreeze? Because that's a really good story.
Yes, that's actually it was a very eye opening experience. Because so me and Philip was this at Awesome Con?
No, Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay. So like Philip brought me over to. I think it was the first time I met Stefan too. Um, brought me over to meet him, and he was giving out portfolio reviews and advice and stuff like that. And then he looked at mine's, and he looked at it, and it wasn't a look of like impressiveness. He was like, it was like more of a look like, why would you do that? He was like, because I was showing some pages that had like
Did we
um
lose him?
I'm not sure. I can still see his page. Oh, maybe we did. It looks like maybe it looks like we lost him. Or maybe Stefan's in the background doing stuff because now I see stuff going on in the on the screen here. So we'll see. But I'll put you back on screen for now. But
Okay. All right.
yeah, we
Bye.
must have lost him because I don't see him on the thing anymore. But that's all right. Oh, he's back.
the storyteller rather than just being a
Hey,
artist.
hey, Sean.
Yes.
Did you even know that
Everything,
you left the room there for a sec? Or
everything you said after look of, we didn't hear.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's
I
okay.
I,
We
I
have
like
our guardian angel in the background playing with stuff. So
sorry. It's
it
I
wasn't you. It was Stefan.
oh so Brian was looking at my work and he was like, "Man, why would you do all that? Like this it was like an absurd amount of detail." It and his advice was like, you can obviously draw, but like why would you sit down and put that much detail in something if you're not like really progressing a story? Um and so he was pointing out like how for him like for his style and his voice as a storyteller how he would get approached to do a lot of Batman stuff because it really works for that kind of noir um kind of visual storytelling. But he was saying for me is like you would if someone looks at this like they'll be able to tell that yeah you can draw, but at the same time one they'll worry if you can complete work on time, and two um it's just no story there. It's just a really extremely absurdly detailed piece that doesn't really lead anywhere. And so he's I was like floored with that because I thought, man, these pages are going to be so beautiful. Like somebody's going to be in awe.
Well, the thing is, they were in awe. That was the thing.
Yeah, just in the wrong kind of awe.
Well, no, because like, and let me step in for one quick second on this one. Brian has a big thing with comics because he cares more, like you said, more about the storytelling.
Yeah.
What he finds confusing are people who do pages that honestly are like works of art that belong in museums, because he goes, you can't do that for every single page.
Right.
He did bring that up. He did.
Yeah, so because he said even the reader will get tired because it's so fantastic that the reader spends too much time looking at the page and not really absorbing the story.
Yeah. I believe he in his words he said it was exhausting.
It's like every page is like, where's Waldo, right?
Yeah, it's like you're looking at so much, like you don't know what to focus on, you know.
Well, we got another question from the audience here. Casey wants to know that do you guys do any kind of exercise to help practice the storytelling part? And I was gonna throw in my own little part too. Like, do you guys do storytelling and writing as well? Or are you guys strictly just doing the art stuff for now, or do you do independently, like your own creatively owned writing art projects? Like,
I can go. I got into writing probably a few years ago, and I have written some scripts. No one's liked them, but it's good. Honestly, if you're an artist, it's good practice to do it just to kind of get the idea of how writers work. Last year, I ended up putting out a few books that were strictly art books, but this year I have a story I've written for myself that I want to see how to do. And honestly, it's a mixed bag of I want to see the whole process so I can actually like plan for my like a bigger project for myself. Just so I think, like Sean said, self-publishing gives you a whole lot of insight into the process itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And being able to do, and like I said, a friend of mine said, being able to be a 5-star artist, which is kind of like what baseball does. It gives you a lot of control, also a lot of understanding of what to do. I didn't think that was going to work. Sorry. Just a heads up. When I'm inking, I have no idea what I'm doing. Because inks are both magical and they hate you at the same time. If you're using a brush and a nib, it really does test your existential sense of dread.
So it's good to see that you're pushing your boundaries a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, doing it on air is a real big push for me because I'm like, usually I'll do it at home. Well, I mean here with nobody watching, going, "Oh, hey, no one saw me mess that up. I don't have."
That's okay. There's 5 people watching you, so 5 people I see on Facebook. I'm sure there's more than others too. Yeah.
But they're Canadians, so probably not. I'm sorry.
So that means it's 3.5 only, or what?
No, I'm just saying Canadians got a good sense of like art and style.
We do. Lots of culture up here. When it's winter for half the year, you gotta find lots of things to pique your interest.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Poutine may very well be the reason I moved to Canada.
Yeah, poutine's all right, I guess.
Are you allowed to say that on air?
That poutine's all right?
Yeah.
It's all right.
I'm sorry, we didn't answer the question. Yes, there is a lot of practice, even for this one. Actually, let me do a quick thing. So this part right here is supposed to be a bunch of demons. And so when it comes to demons, I have an extremely sense of joy when I do them. So I do a bunch of concept designs for them personally. And for this particular one, I actually did like 5 pages, but these are the 3 I decided to keep. So here is the first run for the types I might use. That's literally just marker and me just kind of trying out shapes that I think work. And then here is a second one that I did. The third one somehow, the third one. And then This is the third one I did because I wanted to. Because like I said, it's a tight shot, and I wasn't sure exactly how they would look.
Right. Yeah.
So I wanted to at least have an idea of what I wanted to present to everyone. And you can see right, it's barely finished because when it comes to demons and stuff, I just go for pen and ink.
Yeah.
And not even worry about like trying to find try to like do it in pencil because it gets for me it gets detailed oriented. And that was when I went to go talk to Brian, that's what he told me about my stuff was that I am closer to like Toth and Mike Mignola.
Oh yeah.
I should focus on that in a sense. Well, I mean, not like close to them, but basically like they're obviously my influences. So I should lean into it. So he's a great teacher. He actually gave me exercises to actually be able to do how to actually spot my blacks in a way that actually still tells the story that isn't like, and you'll forgive me, isn't like not ninja, 90s detailed style, because it's not entirely my entire oeuvre, so to speak. Like my noir is my favorite genre when it comes to this kind of stuff. So stuff like Batman really do kind of hit home for me.
What's the size of piece you're working on tonight? 11 by 17?
11 by 17. Yeah, usually that's my size. 11 by 17, 11 by 14.
Okay.
Usually the sizes I go for. I think the guy who after he told me that, the guys who were initially interested in, I wasn't sure why I was till he explained it to me, and then I realized, oh, okay. And then it became like guys like Jean-Paul Leon, who I love. It was one of the big influences I followed. So that's me.
Mm-hmm. Good story.
Man, so I was listening so intently, I forgot the question.
Riveted.
What ways to improve your visual storytelling?
Oh, okay. So, it's this exercise that kind of I had a fine art background growing up and stuff, so I went to like an arts high school and I did a lot of figure drawing in college and stuff. So the teacher in the figure drawing class will make us do a lot of gesture drawings and figure. The only thing is that I would change it a little bit and I would make the figures actually do something. Because if they're doing something, it's telling a narrative. If they're just kind of standing there posing, then they're just posing.
Right.
But if I get really like stumped, I do that a lot. And it doesn't have to be anything particular. Like I can literally just draw stick figures like jumping, running, couple figures at a time, maybe fighting, or literally as figure doing different types of figures, like stealing candy from children or whatever. Doesn't matter.
What is wrong with you?
That's the first thing you went to.
Yeah. the darkest parts of the mind start waking up at those points. So it's
random stuff to do. I gotta find it.
Yeah. And it's really just to wake you up and get you thinking in terms of storytelling, because it's I mean, it's a weird thing because I think human beings, like we tend to understand things narratively a lot better than almost anything else. I think we understand like story and narrative almost better than facts sometimes, but when it comes to like forcing yourself to sit down and actually like tell something in that way, it becomes like difficult because you just don't flex that muscle a whole lot. Like you don't think about doing it that way. So I would do that, and also I look a lot of like films and from favorite directors and stuff like that. It's typically horror and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not that horror is like, the only great storytelling movie medium or anything like that. It's just that there's a certain I'm a big fan of horror, but or at least I was growing up for movies, but it was because I just kind of thought that form of storytelling was like really honest in a way. And so
Sure.
they're trying to get to they're trying to hit you in a more visceral, emotional kind of way.
Right.
They're trying to get you to react. Everything is intended to get an emotional reaction from you.
That's
They're
the
not
that's the
just
definition of art right there, man.
yeah, yeah,
So I just got a message from Nathan. He's on his way here. He
Cool.
says he doesn't have anything in mind to draw. So anybody in the audience there, if you want, you can start throwing out some ideas, and we'll pick up something cool for Nathan to draw. So again, tonight's theme is Marvel and DC villains. So everybody in the chat, feel free to throw up some suggestions. And when Nathan pops in, we'll get him going.
What if they make him draw Blob?
Yeah, I was gonna say Glob Herman too.
Yeah, and just be like,
That'd be so funny. The Sabretooth is looking pretty cool.
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to
and
get too detailed, but I'm getting like tempted to do it with all the hair. He has all this hair and fur and stuff.
yeah, stick it out. I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what Phillip was doing there a couple seconds ago. It sounded like he was Bob Ross there beating the devil out of the brush there.
Getting the devil out the brush.
Okay, so I ended up for a while there. Well, put it this way, I am usually a digital artist just because of expediency.
Uh-huh.
But the rule I have is, and actually, the rule I was taught and beat into me was, if you can do it digitally, you should be able to do the same effect traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure that is a legitimate argument, but my teacher / mentor at the time was like, "You trust me, you'll have fun doing it." So yeah. So there's a lot of like, if you look at my stuff on Instagram, it's really texture based because I like texture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I do weird effects on the art just to kind of get to what I want it to look like. So, but most of it is me testing it out in real life first, which honestly sometimes is a pain. So right now, I think everyone can see me. I am almost finished Celine, so before I get her back, I kind of want to do some special splatter effects for her.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I see the paper used to protect the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, why does he got his credit card out there? What's he doing?
He's charging it.
I thought maybe he's doing lines of coke on the table in front of
Whatever keeps you awake,
like
Phil.
he's a true artist on a Saturday night.
I do have. I right next to me, oddly enough, I do have a coffee that has a triple shot of espresso in it. So you, sir, are not that far from the truth.
Nah.
It's just legal.
Oh, we got Carl says the Mandarin or Fing Fang Foom. Yeah, those are both pretty cool. I was thinking Doc Ock. Doc Ock's always a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I could have drawn Doc Ock. Oh.
Dr. Doom, always a solid pick, but I think everyone picks Dr. Doom.
Yeah, he gets picked every time. You could have Doc Ock coming over top of Sabretooth. That's the best thing about being an artist, I think. But with you guys, it's like, you know what? Anything in your mind, if you want it, you could just draw it. Like,
That is a blessing and a curse.
true.
Because you're going, I'm going to do it. 7 hours later, you done did it and going, where the rest of the day went?
Is that hard on the body to sit there and like draw for like that many 8 hours in a row? Because like I'm a hairdresser and it kills to be standing and doing like 8 hours straight and that, like you got to be moving around. So like,
yeah, I take breaks often. I really, and honestly, part of it is not because of stress on the body, but honestly, you can get tunnel vision on your piece, and sometimes forget what you're drawing and just go, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Sure.
And that's because you've been in that one spot for so long. So yeah, I will step away. I even do like some hand and exercises and stretches just to kind of keep me active and stuff.
Yeah, I gotta do the same thing at work too with my hands as well.
Yeah.
My question is, do you guys use a flat top desk? Do you guys use the elevated desk? Do you sit? Do you stand?
I sit, and my drawing table just pops up at I don't know what degree this is. It's not 90. I wish it would go to 90, but
so it elevates, it lifts up, yeah,
and it's good to get up every now and again, and give yourself rewards for when you complete portions of the work.
Oh, I've never done that.
Yeah, no, I have to because I get too like wrapped up in stuff, especially if I'm like, really into the drawing and I'm going on some unnecessary detail binge and that's when I need to like stop for a second because it's really easy for me to get tunnel vision, like especially because I draw like really late at night or in the morning rather, and at 3 a.m. and you're tired, like anything starts looking good, like literally anything.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing if you're out at the bar too.
Yeah,
you get those end of the night beer goggles or whatever.
yeah, exactly. You get beer goggles for your own work. You just like, your eyes could be drawn like literally a full foot and a half apart. You'd be like, oh, that's not so bad.
The next morning, what in God's name was I thinking?
Yeah, it's like,
Again, that ties into that whole bar environment as well too.
Oh,
yeah,
it does.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like, what is this? Why?
This is why I'm not allowed to go out alone by myself.
Let's see.
But here's a question for you, Sean.
Yes.
I know we asked me, and I've been rambling on about people I love. Who'd you follow to kind of get to this point?
Oh, like artists, like people. Yeah. There is a lot, but the ones that I think I try to that really inspire me most are like they're artists like Gray Williamson, Machindo Kumba. I don't know if a lot of people will know him, but I follow him.
I know.
Yeah. That guy is some kind of like
legit a shaman. I don't care what I say.
It's I don't believe it's just some random natural ability he just practiced and got really, really good at. I think some like clandestine stars aligned and and gave him those abilities. Because his work is just, anyone who doesn't know him, you should look him up. It's Machindo Kumba. It's incredible.
What does he do?
It's a lot of people would call it like I guess, like sort of Afrocentric sci-fi or Afro
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's really not. It's a little bit wider than that, in my opinion,
Yeah.
or a lot wider, really.
Hmm.
um, but it's hard for me to put into words. Like I'm inspired by his approach to the figure, um, his interpretation of sci-fi and even modern design. Um, I just his color work is incredible. Um, like it's inspired. Like how he's I don't know if he would even want it, but like I don't know how he hasn't been on like every Black Panther book.
Hmm.
You know, it's just or Silver Surfer book or whatnot. I have no idea how anybody missed that boat. It's just like if I was an editor and saw that guy at a con, I'd be like, "You're on Silver Surfer for forever, for as long as I live, for as long as I'm the editor at Marvel Comics, you will be on Silver Surfer."
Like when I first saw him, my first thought was he is. Well, I mean, it's technically it's a larger scope, this kind of definition,
Yeah,
but I call this stuff like some kind of a mix between magical surrealism at
yeah,
times, and it's like you look at his stuff, and you know his stuff is like that what it's supposed to be, but it just doesn't feel normal. And I don't mean normal in a bad way, but normal in like there's a bigger story behind everything he puts out.
yeah. It's like this weird like it's like an implied narrative underneath the visual, and it's weird. It
Mhm.
to be able to get that kind of effect in anything is just wild to me.
He's an American artist, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a pretty good following on social media between Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. It's but no, this guy is off the wall crazy good.
I'll have to check that out.
But besides that, it's I mean, I have you know a Bible scroll long list of artists I love, but among them are like artists like Ivan Rees or Riaz and Eddie Burrows and um, Bart Sears. I'm still hugely inspired by. It's even older artists like Gene Colan and Wally Wood and
Yeah.
uh, the older I get, the more Jack Kirby's work seems.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes way more sense, and just to
Mm-hmm.
imagine how he drew these things like with no layout, no nothing. Just
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take my pencil and just start. I'm like, what?
Just literally start the quote freeballing it. No, with no.
Yeah. I'm like, that's madness to me. Like how? But yeah, no, it's a huge list. It's a huge list of artists. Um, that I'm constantly inspired by. And I look at their work daily too, just to keep me inspired, you know.
Is there something, this is for both you guys, is there something, or what do you think you guys wish you could do better? Or you always seem to be frustrated on, you're always like second guessing, like some people would be like hands, or some people don't like doing silhouette type of stuff, like no realism type of that. What about you guys?
Oh, yeah, for real. So I have two major tropes that I notice I do a lot that I think are
Mm-hmm.
not great. One, I tend to elongate figures. I don't know why. It just I never notice it.
Like you
And
stretch them out, you mean? Like the torsos and everything? Like,
well, usually it's the legs. I don't know if it's
oh,
like a
okay.
knees thing. Like maybe I just saw it so much that it just like maybe that's just how I interpret the figure. But
Mm-hmm.
um another thing is like eyes. I always like dilly dally with eyes way too much. It's the point that they can look weird sometimes. I'm just like what is that?
And Phillip, what are you? You have any imperfections or?
Yeah. So, one of the things I like doing is rendering a lot. Like, I like the concept of texture and a bunch of stuff I do. And honestly, or doing it on organic figures is really easy. But when I start doing vehicles, there's a disconnect there, and I'm trying to find a way to fix that. But that's pretty much been so. Like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. I struggle with like vehicles and just all the kind of crazy stuff. But the trick for me has always been rendering and being able to render, like being able to create something that feels like it's in the same universe as the organic figures I do does tend to be a bit of a struggle for me. Because then it's just like, it's a car. What can I do to make this work? Make this look like it truly does belong in this place. Has always been something that I like try to like find something to do just because for me, it's like that consistency is what sells a piece.
Right.
And every time, and like I said, in the last, I mean, I've been trying to struggle to do it so a lot, but I'm just, when I look at pieces I've done, I don't feel like it's working. And it's like something I still practice on right now. Like what kind of weird texture can you put on like say a 57 Chevy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so it's just like I said, that's like the one thing with being an artist. You become obsessed about something that you need to fix, and there really is no way to get around it because it's like you have to fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. So what are you saying? Sorry.
I was gonna say like just because I get obsessed about fixing certain stuff, but I just never have the time. I'm just like to move on now.
How you guys doing?
Hey man, I was just about to introduce you there. So we have now joining the show, we have Nathan. So we have two Nathans. So for the rest of the show, I'll just go by Nate, or you guys can call me Nat Daddy, either one, and we'll call him Nathan. Yeah. How are you doing, Nathan? Doing well?
I'm good, and you guys? Just been busy.
That's good.
Doing well.
Good.
So your mission, since if you choose to accept it, is that you can have either your choice of doing Dr. Octopus or a mashup of Fing Fang Foom and Dr. Doom called Fing Fang Doom.
Fing Fang and Dr. Doom. I'll have to look that up. I've never heard of this character.
Yeah. Fing Fang Foom's that big old dragon. But I think you should do the Doc Ock.
Doc Ock. Yeah,
and so does Linda Adams, and she thinks I'm cute, I think. So I think that's the choice.
We'll listen to Linda then.
There you
go. Easy, not said.
So you just rushed over from work?
I just rushed over from work, yeah. Just finished the plan. And now it's back to another type of drawing.
That's good. And what are you going to be using tonight? Pencils and then inks or markers or?
I think I'm going to use watercolor.
Watercolor? Oh, even better.
That violet style of mine. Or not style, just method I like using, rather. Let's call that.
You just won my heart. I love watercolor stuff.
All right, Doc Ock. Let's see. An old school Doc Ock.
Yes, please. Has anybody started watching the new season of The Mandalorian yet?
I am way behind.
Sure.
I have not. I've gotten like behind on so many shows. I've gotten behind on House of the Dragon. Even
I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, I was super excited for that show, man. That's the only it was like, it's talking about the Dance of Dragons. That's the only time I cared what happened in the Targaryen family. Besides that, I was just like, yeah, whatever.
That was me with Rings of Power.
Yeah,
I still didn't see that either.
Mhm.
I am super pumped to see that new D&D movie, though. That looks pretty awesome.
It's got Chris Pine in it. Wait,
I know, that's awesome.
Chris Pine is what my friends and I call secret sauce. If he's in the movie, it's gonna be great.
There you go. I did watch that series with Sylvester Stallone in it called Tulsa King. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
I did it. I enjoyed that. I'm surprised I enjoyed that one actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember a tweet from Jimmy Palmiotti, and he was saying something like, "Why is he doing a reality show? He has like a hit TV show." And I was like,
he's like 75 in like real life, I think, and he played 75 in that show, and he looks pretty damn good for 75. I'll tell you that.
I know.
You can't understand anything he says, but he hasn't been able to speak since he's like 30. So, but man, he's pretty cut. He must be taking like human growth hormone or something.
I hope so. For his sake.
Yeah.
I was like, don't make him make it stop. Like, don't.
Oh, it's fucking looking so badass, that Sabertooth. Goddamn.
Trying my best not to be like too weird with these shadows.
You guys are making me laugh. Like, oh, I'm gonna try not to do this. Or I'm not trying not to do that.
It's, I get real tempted to just like, just lay down the whole area in black and just cheat a bit. But too many shadows always look weird when you go towards the crotch because it just looks like you're purposely trying to like
black it out.
Yeah, it's like you're editing something. It's like you're censoring it. Like, no, make people think that there's something there even more. It just takes up too much.
Oh, could we ask Nathan how he got started too?
Sure. Yeah. Nathan, how did you get started?
With what?
Art.
With art. Fuck.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I think I was 4 and my mom pushed the brush in my hand and said, "Hey, paint this still life." And I don't know what I did, but I did. And it's just like my mom went to art school, and she did a lot of that stuff, and I think a lot of my knowledge came from her. So I didn't really like the way they were teaching it at school. So I just fucked them. And but my mom had a certain way of she had a certain way of motivating me to make me feel like, okay, cool, I can actually do this.
Nice.
And yeah, but I think since becoming a tattoo artist, my art has definitely grown more than what it did not being in this field.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically how I got into it.
Everything's looking pretty sweet, I must say, gentlemen. While everybody's in kind of thought for a sec, I'll take a second here. And I was asked to mention that for everybody who took part in the Kickstarter, the Volume 3 Kickstarter, some of you haven't done some surveys yet. There's some surveys that have been sent out by email, so double check your junk just to make sure. Your junk email, I should say. Don't double check your junk. Double check your junk email just to make sure it's not in there. And when you find it, do fill it out, please, because there's a few of you that haven't yet. So. Awesome. That was my announcements for the evening.
Hey, Sean.
Yes.
You got anything else going? You got anything coming up after War College?
So I still have to do I have
Maybe to hear me.
I have to finish out issue 2 of the Hated with David Walker, and that is, I'm literally in the middle of the book right now. It's going to be about 30 pages, and I'm literally got done with page 16 the other day. So and that's one of those books, like issue 1 I drew pretty much all digitally, and now I'm drawing it traditionally. So it's just surprising how much more comfortable I am kind of doing it this way now. So I guess that's why it's going so well.
Are you coloring that yourself too, or?
Oh no, I would ruin that book. But I think
we've lost people.
Yeah, the coloring is going to be done by Isabel Strubble. So like when I'm done, I think actually she's probably started already. Actually,
right.
I remember seeing some pages a while ago. So yeah. So that should be exciting. But basically that's an Old West story that David wrote. And it's basically sort of like an Elseworld story of like if the Confederate War ended in a truce.
Oh, I gotta check that
rather
out.
than, just the Union taking over. Yeah. So there's the main character is Araminta Free, who's basically like a bounty hunter who looks for former Confederate soldiers who go up north to recapture slaves who ran up north.
Okay.
Because it's like you're not supposed to be this far north, so you gotta, least of all take slaves. So you gotta stop that, and just dealing with a lot of her story and the issues she's kind of faced, like being a former slave and stuff like that, and dealing with unfriendly types growing up, to say the least.
I got a question for all three of you. What did you guys read growing up? Did you read just comics? Did you read like books as well too? Or?
I wrote books as well. Actually, that's mostly probably why I'm so into detail stuff, because my mom, when I was a kid, had she had Stephen King book, The Stand.
Oh man, that's a Bible.
Yeah, and she like her and my grandfather, they were super into reading. So I thought, man, I was just starting to get into it. I was reading every comic I could get my hand on, and so she had the illustrated edition of The Stand, and a lot of the illustrations were by Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I saw his work, and I was blown away by it. Still am. And so I tried to read that book, failed a couple times. Just didn't have the. I was a kid, so I didn't really have the fortitude for it. But eventually, I did get through it, and it was.
What was that?
Also, I think she had, what was it? Paradise Lost by Milton. Like all the illustrations in there. I had no idea what I was reading, but I tried anyway.
Yeah. What about you, Philip? What did you like to read? Did we lose him?
I think it said something. He might have stepped away.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. No, he's still there.
No.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh.
I think I got to bring you back in. Hold a sec. All right, you're back now. So what did you like to read as a kid there, Philip, did you like to read just comics, or did you read literature as well, or what was your favorite type of comics?
The one big thing I read a lot, and honestly I still to this day at least read it once a year. The main thing was honestly Lord of the Rings. Was a big influence on me. I also read a lot of Orson Scott Card. Honestly, I came into comics really late, per se, because I know a bunch of people started when they were kids. I started probably my sophomore year of high school.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so honestly, because I'd honestly just read them, and then I ended up finding. At the time, I was a big fan of like mythology, specifically Norse mythology, and I found Walt Simonson's run on Thor.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, and I was like, "Who is this man?" And just to give you a nightmarish scenario of what it was like, I bought one of his comics for like 75 cents. And it was but it was honestly the year before it went to $1. And I was like, what? But I still kept buying them. Yeah, literally nowadays we're like, okay, but he was like watching him do Thor was probably one of the 3 most important moments in my artistic career, because he managed to combine mythology with like modern day stuff. And like I said, Thor, and honestly, his Thor was badass.
I think that's some of the best Thor, actually. I think it's it. So.
And then he introduced Beta Ray Bill.
I believe so.
Yeah, and I was just like, because then it became like because originally I thought it was just a fantasy story that he was doing. Then it's just like, nope, this is sci-fi, which was, like I said, my genre for law. It still is. And then the other person, probably most significantly, was probably Octavia Butler. Anything she's ever done was probably one of the main influences in how I draw. Just because the way she wrote everything made an impact on me. So yes,
smart influences. I just really like that Rob Liefeld commercial with Spike Lee.
You are not wrong, sir.
I was like, man, this looks cool.
He made comics cool. Like that was honestly the greatest commercial I know for comics right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what you
like, man, whatever.
What about you, Nathan? What did you like to read as a kid? What influenced you?
Well, we didn't have, like, in South Africa, like, to get comics, we didn't get, like, we'll get one Superman number 16, and then when you see the comics again, you'll get Superman number 322, and then you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Why is he got long hair? Why is he living in the forest? So it was wild. I had this Superman versus Flash, who's the fastest man annual book that was my
that's a great book.
Man. Yeah. Dude, I remember that. I can't even remember what happened exactly. I need to get that book again because mine got destroyed years ago. But that book definitely like got me hooked onto comics and made me a big Superman fan. And then after that, Batman, but only like snippets. It's only also in my later years that I got to read full series of Batman or the New 51, where I could read it from 1 to 51 and like, oh, okay, cool, that's the story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was like almost like picking up little shards of stories, and then you only have 13 pages of two-liners, and it's like I don't know what the fuck's going on.
And what about for your tattoo stuff? When did you get into that?
Also late on, I only got into it when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
I was into architecture and mechanical and electrical engineering drafting before I got into this, and got lucky with the tattooing. Just walked into a studio and said, "Well, I can draw better than you," and kind of got the job.
And that's a fact, Jack. I just know I the audacity of art.
Yeah, it was. I look at that stage. I lost my job as a draftsman because South Africa was going through a recession, and I had to go look for a waitering job. So I got the job, and that specific day I went to go fetch my menu and my apron and all the uniform and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as I walked out of the mall, there was a tattoo studio on the right, and it said on the wall, it said tattoo artist needed. So I walked in, and the lady that was tattooing, the owner, I didn't know she was the owner yet. And she was busy tattooing, and I looked at that tattoo, and I said, "Well, look, I don't know much about your machine and how it works, but I know I can draw better than you." And she looked up at me, and she laughed, and she said, "Okay, cool, I'll prove it." So I took a piece of paper, and I drew 3 pictures, and she said, "Okay, cool, well, it was the Wednesday," and she said, "You can start the Friday."
Wow.
Nice.
How I kind of got into it. So lucky. Baldy, but lucky.
That's awesome, man.
Success is like that sometimes. It's part luck, right?
Yeah, right.
That is awesome. You imagine going into
90%
Marvel?
luck,
Can you imagine going into Marvel Studios saying that?
Dude,
I can draw
would.
better than you.
I mean, better than like that random secretary. Yeah, probably. I'd be like, yeah.
I mean, but honestly, that's a story Mike Grell tells sometimes. Have you heard that?
No.
So Mike Grell, obviously standard, legit artist and just a brilliant creator, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he was in a meeting and he was like, he's going to draw stuff. He's like going to plan it out. And the weird thing is Mike Grell owns a gun. And again, this is still, like I said, this is a business story, but basically it's been confirmed by a few people. Basically, but so he's pulling out his stuff he wants to pitch, right? And like, I guess he was just like, man, the gun ain't no problem. So he put everything out, including the gun on the table. And
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, and I was just like, bruh, I don't know, man. I mean, he ended up getting the book anyway, but I feel like there may have been some undue influence on that.
Slightly forced. Slightly forced.
But that is one of the many reasons Mike Grell is a legend.
Yeah, that is a bad story. That's actually a very clever tactic. Put the gun there. Oh no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But this is what I want to do.
You guys are all way too American sounding right now. The fact you're walking around with guns.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's terrible that happened, but it is fascinating. It's more just it's just random because it's the fun part about comics and the fact that all creators are characters.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, right, amongst, like all these TikToks and videos that come around that go like, show me your tattoo artist, without telling me your tattoo artist. I think in today's age, these 2 items is like, show me your comic book artist without telling me your comic book artist. If you just put down those 2, I think most people can relate to those 2 vocabularies. The Holy Grails.
So
the longer I do it, the more because I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, but it seems so similar, like the business. It's like a lot of kayfabe and it's a lot of gimmicks.
Yeah.
Are you watching the pay-per-view tomorrow night?
Revolution?
Yeah, AEW. Yeah.
I am. Yeah. Man. the thing is I'm trying to go back on it, but it has one of my favorite guys putting in work, which I love, is Daniel
Who's
Bryan.
that? Oh yeah.
Like that dude, 100%. Like to this day, I still say letting that man go from WWE is still a terrible mistake.
I agree.
So
And Jericho.
And but yeah, I was just like, but he's fighting again one of my favorite heels as well.
MJF, man, like he's only 25. That kid,
he is
amazing.
25 years old. He's about the same age as Randy Orton was when he got his first. I think Randy was 23 though.
Yeah.
But Randy Orton wasn't as good on the mic, man. Like nobody's as good on him in the mic since like Piper. Like he's just amazing.
Yeah. But the thing but Sean's right. Wrestling and comics really do go together, like in a disturbing way. Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, some of the storylines remind me of comic book stories.
Yeah, that's probably what they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty much. And that's why on Thursday nights you guys should watch my Nat Daddy show, which covers comics and wrestling.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
But
I'll provide the link.
Yeah.
And that's what I do on the side here too. Like besides being a hairdresser and putting out the independent comics as well too. The last 6 months I've been working with independent wrestling promotion in town here. So we have shows every month, and we got about 6 or 7 shows out of town in this month. It's crazy.
Which what's the wrestling thing?
It's called Primo's Wrestling out of Winnipeg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. If you and check out my Nat Daddy page there too. It's all there.
Okay. Yeah.
They're bringing in this group from for first time in Canada called Viva La Amish. You guys gotta check them up there. It's like these punker Amish guys. It's pretty awesome.
Nice. I just discovered a new stable that makes me so happy. It's an all Latin group, and they call themselves the Bodega.
Yeah.
And they are amazing. Like they are like they're fun. They're funny on the mic, but at the same time, they are great to watch in the ring, which makes me so happy.
Well, our main event on the 26th is a 3-way tag team tables, ladders, and chairs match.
That is magical.
Yeah.
What's the finish?
You can't say what the finish is.
I don't know. I don't know what the finish is yet, actually.
Oh, okay.
Good. There.
All I know is they had a 2-way tag team match like that last time, and there was some pretty sore bodies.
Oh. There was some shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I will say this: the rise in wrestling does make me happy.
Me too.
Because there is a bit of a purity to it, and it's just fun to watch. Like, don't take it seriously at all. Because 9 times out of 10, if you think too hard about it, you're gonna go no.
And also too, now that there is some good competition between the two companies, it's actually improving everything. So
yeah.
Right now, my favorite gimmick one is still Dominic Mysterio.
That's the one I hate the most right now.
The fact that they quote unquote spent 4 hours in jail, and all of a sudden
he's hardened.
All of a sudden he a prison dude coming out looking like Conan, being a straight criminal. I'm like,
yeah,
just
it changed him.
Yeah, 4 hours in the penitentiary.
It changed him forever. That was hard.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the storylines that like you sit there and go, that'll only work in wrestling and comics.
Yeah, so true. Yeah.
I want somebody to do that in comics now, but I know that running this gimmick, so I was just like, it's fine.
Has anyone read Dual Powerbomb?
Yes, that's a great series. That's one of my favorites.
He's amazing, and I follow him on YouTube. He's a huge he's mostly Japanese wrestling. He's mostly a Japanese wrestling fan.
As he should.
That's a whole different animal right there.
Yeah, I don't I don't know if it's always like a work. It's like, I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Kota Ibushi is a perfect example of. Is he serious?
Kota, I'm like, I don't know, man. He hit him pretty hard.
Yeah.
The only person who I truly believe might actually be evil is Minoru Suzuki.
That man is evil. I don't care.
The crazy grandpa, what do they call him? The psycho grandpa?
Murder grandpa?
Murder grandpa,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sad he retired, but good for him.
Well, he was like 50 plus or 60 or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'd followed him in Japan, and I was really happy he came to America because he's just fun to watch. So yeah, I'm taking a little bit of a break to let this dry because I got stencil work to do, and I am really bad at it. So
okay.
But he's another wrestler I enjoy because I don't have the WWE Network. I have New Japan Pro World's streaming system. Also $9.99. So, and I watch those things. And let me just tell you right now, I foolishly thought I could watch Wrestle Kingdom live while it was happening.
Nope.
That is a 3 a.m. watch, kids. That is a 3 a.m. watch.
Wasn't this past on like a 2-day event?
It was amazing, yes. Because it introduced
that's the climax, whatever they call it, right?
Yeah. But it gave us Mercedes Moné's debut.
Right.
Yeah.
And her against another missed opportunity, man. Letting her go.
I agree.
Yeah. When I saw her walk down the ramp, I was like, yeah, she ain't never going back. Like, she ain't never going back. This time.
That's like a breakup in a relationship. She ain't coming back, son. She ain't coming back to you. But she's also a big she's an anime and comic fan too.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she mostly anime, but technically she follows manga.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's been in churches for a while because she loves it. She loves it a lot. So her being in Japan really was almost a foregone conclusion.
Right.
She ain't never coming back.
She really ain't.
She doesn't have to, man. She can do her own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, she got the street cred to do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, and honestly, she's doing some of the best wrestling she's done since NXT.
Yeah. Oh man, her finish was nice. That was like the best finisher from her I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure she's very, very, very much dedicated to that. But she's got the acting bug as well too. So.
Yes. Oh, that's right. She's in The Mandalorian too.
Yeah.
Now she can do that like at will whenever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. But yeah, but I really did it. Like I said, I enjoy the fact that a lot of wrestling guys read comic books.
That makes me happy too. Makes me happy if anyone reads comics.
Yeah, true. I gotta tell you though, for me, when it came to English, I learned most of the biggest words I knew from comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Me too. That and Bugs Bunny cartoons when I was a kid. Yeah. That's how you learned about opera and that.
Exactly. My favorite is Walt Simonson taught me the word besmirch, and I passed a test with that word. Like ever since that point, I'm ride or die with Walt Simonson. So, but like getting my nephews to read comics actually led them to read more other stuff, which I was happy about. So,
yeah. It's a gateway drug.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Speaking of gateway drugs, Nathan, what were you burning there? What was on the menu tonight?
Oh, it was some sage. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Cleansing my paper.
I got real for a second, didn't it?
He's in Colorado. It's legal.
Yeah, this is Pure Vita.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
60/40 sativa.
That is for hand and yeah, that should be fine. I like the width on that one. I will say I have stolen some of Sean's rendering techniques though.
Oh, that's okay. I stole mine's from David Finch, Bernie Wrightson, all those guys.
Well, yeah.
It's not stealing, it's learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being influenced.
I can't do it exactly like them, but I can get the gist of it. Be like, oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah. It's like me and Paul Pope.
Oh, I love Paul Pope.
I know, right? That dude's like his. I think is it Batman 1,000,000?
Batman 100, I think, is it?
Yeah, Batman 100. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too, but I didn't want to be wrong. So you said it, and I was like, yeah, I'm right.
That is why you run these streets, sir.
Thanks.
But
yeah, of everybody that's on the stream tonight, I look like the most street cred of all of us.
But yeah, but that book right there, honestly, is one of the books that taught me inking.
Which book was that? Sorry, I missed that.
Paul Pope, he did Batman 100, and honestly, if he ever when he does a mainstream book, you know it's going to be wrong on some level, because the man does not do mainstream, but he does beautiful work, and he tells almost incredible stories. Because I think he did one called Battling Boy as well. And you think it's supposed to be like a YA book because it's about a young god who falls to Earth. Oh no! It's oh no! It's a trauma-inducing adventure of a kid trying to find himself, where half the planet's about to be blown up. And it's one of the most well-written, brilliantly written books that I go back to often about when I want some inspiration.
You guys seen Ant-Man yet? The new one?
I have.
I have as well.
I haven't yet. No.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Me too. It felt like Ant-Man inside a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that I think it's a bad movie. It's just like, I have seen this before. But I thought, like I said, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Jonathan Majors really did make that movie.
Kang, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Paul Rudd was okay, but Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer and what's her name there, Wasp, they were horrible in that. I don't know if it's because they had to act in front of a green screen the whole movie, maybe, or what, but it just seemed horrible.
They tried their best.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think it was their fault. I just think the story was a bit on the it's just, like I said, I don't think the story was working for him.
Yeah. But I still enjoyed it though.
Yeah. It was, I mean, it's a fun adventure. Like I said, it was very pretty. And honestly, when the art of the Ant-Man and Quantumania comes out, I will be buying that for inspiration.
Indeed. Same.
So I am very excited for that. Bigger pen. So what I am excited for is what's the name of that one? I blanked on it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh yeah, Fast X.
Oh, are you a Fast and Furious guy?
Dude, again, every argument y'all are going to make makes perfect sense.
I'm just not a car guy, so.
Yeah. and everyone makes fun of the fact that it's about a family thing. Like, here's the thing: if the worst thing about that movie is that pretty much they push the narrative of it's about family versus some of the crappy things that we look at before, I'm okay with it. Also, let me just say this: in Vin Diesel's comic book universe, because it is a comic book, that man solved the gas crisis. Because they don't stop for gas ever. So say what you will, but in his universe, in his universe, he fixed stuff.
They don't stop for gravity half the time.
No, they do not, sir.
They don't stop. It's just
here's the best part about that, and I tell people, if you watch it, you say it sucks, you're right, because it is a perfect comic book. If and this Nathan, this goes back to your point. If you don't read it in order, like watch all of them in order, that universe makes no sense. If you watched it from the very beginning and you get to the point to 10, you sit there and go, yes, I believe you can strap a rocket to the back of a Peugeot, and send it into space. Like, you will just believe it. Because they have set a standard for their foolishness. Mm-hmm. But every time someone says it's insane, it can't be real, I'm like, you are absolutely correct.
That's why we're going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know those arguments for things that are fictional. It's like, really, you're going to see this? It's realism.
My friend Julian calls it Car Avengers.
Car Avengers.
Yo. That puts it in a different light, doesn't it?
Dude, I need to draw that in a sense.
See? Don't take it so seriously because it's insane. But honestly, we are literally watching a show where at one point, your brethren, Sami Zayn, basically tried to bring down a quote-unquote empire that was the Bloodline. And we're sitting there going, this is the most riveting storyline we've ever said.
I know. They're hooked on that so much, man.
It was. I was like, man, that is
a telenovela. Like, literally, that is a telenovela. I'm going, okay. But yeah, it's what, like I said, but honestly, everyone, like I said, if you watch, you have to watch it from the very beginning, which I think is the only downside of it. But if you do, it makes perfect sense. Or I should say the universe makes perfect sense.
But do you actually have to have number 2 in there?
No,
that's the Tokyo, right? Tokyo Drift one, right?
Okay, first of all, Tokyo Drift is a terrible movie, but every single one of us will die on that hill that it's worth watching.
Okay.
I forget the last one.
Is it actually canon though with the rest of them?
Yes, it is canon. Like
I didn't realize that.
Every single one of it is canon, and there is a timeline. It goes, and you'll forgive me, 1, 2, 3, I believe 5, 4. Then it goes back to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But
and there's a couple spin-offs too, right?
Yes.
With The Rock and Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Or
the spin-offs aren't really worth watching. like most comics, you don't need that. You don't need that spin-off book.
Oh yeah, right. The tie-in.
Yeah, you only watch it just because you love the book. You love the main series.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Screw it. So.
I never used to like Knight Rider when I was a kid either. I watch it now and I laugh, but I didn't care for that as a kid. It's like it's a car, man.
Also, you said you aren't a car guy, so I can understand that.
I'm not a car guy, no. I love the A-Team though. A-Team is awesome.
Well, who didn't?
I even liked the A-Team movie. I didn't mind that.
I did too. Honestly, I watched the A-Team movie and my first thought was, oh, it's pretty much what the Losers should have been. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, That's an interesting twist. Okay, I'll do that. Nice. Okay. Also, another great movie, if anyone has time, is Cocaine Bear.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Could be that, man, in theaters.
Let me just say this. I will not say it's a tour de force. What I will say is that if you need to blow off steam mentally and not care about a thing for a few hours, that is the movie to watch. Because, first of all, the acting in it is great. Ray Liotta, in his last role, killed it. Because the thing I love most about him is he could have just phoned that in, but he decided to put in the work for that movie. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen the Muppets Christmas special with Michael Caine, and how he plays that dead ass serious.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care, Muppets not this role. Ray Liotta was the same thing, and he played a character as hard as what's his name from Goodfellas, Henry Hill. Yeah, that's how hard he plays. Like, that's how hard he plays it. And honestly, it's great when he does, because everyone's kind of goofy with it, but he is not. And like I said, it is not what I refer to as the a tour de force, like say Everything Everywhere All at Once. But you will have fun with that movie, and it'll make a fun day out for you.
Nice. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah. And let me just say, man, and I tell people all the time, if you can handle tasteful violence, go for it. but it's just fun. Like, don't take it seriously. And let me just say this.
Yeah.
The character arc of the bear, amazing.
No, I gotta see it.
Trust me, when I reviewed it for Geek Girl Ride Dash, I was like, man, that bear had an arc. Like, legitimately had a story arc.
That's hilarious. You guys like Westerns? Anybody here?
Mm-hmm.
The other night I watched this really old, I think it's from 1971, this really old Western with Charles Bronson and Ursula Andrews in it called Red Sun or Rising Sun.
Yeah, I know that one.
It was so good, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a samurai that gets the Sacramento sword stolen, and that's on the way to be delivered to the president. So Charles Bronson and the samurai guy have to go get it back with Ursula Andrews and that too. And that French guy Gauche is it's just so good, man.
Have you seen the English yet?
No. Oh yes, I did see that series. Yeah. Yes.
What'd you think?
I liked it. It's okay. I forgot about it until you said it, but it was all right.
Yeah. Like I said, I enjoyed Emily Blunt in it. Or then again, I enjoy Emily Blunt in everything.
That's the reason why I liked it too. I enjoy her as well too. The guy that played opposite of her wasn't too bad either. But...
he was. I thought he was. Yeah, his stuff was great. Mm-hmm. And then I watched, then right after that, I watched her husband do. Was it
Ryan?
Jack Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, I watched those too.
That show pretty good.
It's really good, actually.
I enjoyed it, yeah. But then again, I used to read the books back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I only saw like the movies, like Harrison Ford, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Ford and Ben Affleck and
I always forget Alec Baldwin was there too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
Oh.
See? Everyone forgets he's in it.
I just didn't realize he was playing Jack. Like, whenever I see him, he's like one of those actors where I'm just like, oh, he's playing Alec Baldwin. You know, it's just.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought. Wow. Okay.
Well, he's definitely not being Alec Baldwin in Beetlejuice.
No.
No. With Shadow. Yes, he's not.
How's everybody feeling about their work so far tonight? Everything's going all right? No screw ups or hiccups or anything?
I've had a couple.
Yeah.
But I fixed them.
Yeah.
I'm about to ruin the nib right now.
I'm doing this like main part of Sabretooth, like I was super nervous about getting here, but here I am.
Dude, that Sabretooth.
All or nothing, sir. All or nothing.
Thank you. Yeah, it is all or nothing at this point. I'm already here. I can't go back.
Exactly. But you got this though.
It's, I'm supposed to be a hotshot marble artist. It's supposed to be nothing,
That's what
right?
I'm talking about. Use the young gun.
Yeah. It's supposed to be what do they call it? Thunderbolts or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah, Stormbreakers.
Stormbreakers. Yeah.
They changed it from Young Gun to Stormbreakers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, young guy. I was like, yeah, man. You can do like,
Let's tell the truth, Sean. You can't be young guns.
No, I'm like 41. I can't be too. Guys stay up late. They don't feel it as much.
So Stormbreakers makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Doc Ock's looking good there, Nathan.
Thanks, man. He's a bit buff, but that's all right. He's got a lot of weight to carry.
No, it looks good. Totally classic one. Makes or the
I was about to
Secret
say,
Wars one.
Is that the Alfred Molina version?
I have no idea, brother.
The greatest
It's
Doc ever.
I liked him in that movie.
Yeah.
Very old school.
He was one of the few highlights in it. Nathan, you never seen it?
Which one?
The Spider-Man that had Nathan. I'm sorry.
Alfred
Molina. Thank you. Alfred Molina as Doc.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. All right. Oh yeah, yes. Yeah, no, he was definitely the Doc Ock. Live action.
I think he's one of the few highlights that I enjoyed about that movie.
I think it was the only time I cared about Doc Ock.
Oh.
Yeah, that is true.
I was like, no, I don't want nothing bad to happen.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
He didn't do it on purpose.
I was so sad when he died. I was like, why?
Mm-hmm. But they fixed it at Homecoming.
I was gonna
They
say,
did.
yeah, and they brought them all back.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to put Tom Holland's Spider-Man over. He fixed some of the problems that Maguire couldn't or didn't want to. I guess I don't know. Maybe he's not convenient enough. He's trying to kill him. Trying to figure out how to get his arms not to control him.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this.
I kind of did want like Tom Holland Spider-Man to go ahead and kill Goblin. No, I was like, go ahead, do it, man. I mean,
I kind of thought. Have you guys seen a preview with him in it coming out, where he gets like trapped in a building? He's a thief, and I guess the alarm goes off, and he gets like locked in this building with what's his name there that plays the Goblin. I just saw it the other day. I don't know what it's called, but it looks intensely crazy.
No, I have to look for it.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it looks really intense.
it's a recent movie.
It's a new one that's going to be coming out. It was like a preview.
Okay.
He's like an art thief, and I guess he triggers an alarm on this last job, and it all goes like the whole place goes into like panic room like mode type of thing. So he can't get in, can't get out. Nobody can hear him, and that the heat gets turned up super high, and there's no water or anything in there. He's like licking condensation off a fridge, and he's just losing his mind in there the whole time too, like The Shining. So,
Nice.
and you know how crazy he is when he starts, playing mental roles. So
Yeah.
Okay, let's play with this one more. So this is also the thing I envy most about Sean.
What's that?
His stuff is clean.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm very surprised this is coming out like this.
Stuff is never clean. I mean, it's on purpose, but honestly, it's like. But the artists who could do that, I'm always like, oh, I wish I was clean like that.
Oh man, that inker's name. I think it's Mark McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
I always wish my lines were that clean, but it's like
Yeah.
it's like a machine did it. It's like it's absurd.
Well, nowadays you might never know.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that too.
Oh, yeah. I felt bad, but I haven't thought much about it. Like I always thought like, and I know like there have been I guess some agencies that are starting to use AI art or whatever is a way to make visual concepts and all that stuff. But it's like I always feel like the clients that are going to use that are the clients that were probably never great clients to begin with.
Yeah, that's fair.
And probably would like, and probably were always the most difficult, ask you to do the most changes with the least amount of lead time or anything like that,
Yeah. What was it? Yuli, a friend of ours, had me, Roberto, and Emily W. talk about it on the show. This recently, last week. It's interesting from a law perspective, from a lawyer's perspective.
Yeah.
So, because Emily explained that, and it's a boondoggle. I believe it's probably the best term for it.
They still can't like put like an actual product together and sell it though, can they?
Nah.
No. Yeah,
there was a recent case where
I can't even do hands, man.
And the hands, yes. There was a recent case where someone actually did an entire comic that way.
Yeah.
And it was just ruled that it can't be copywritten because it wasn't made by a human.
Yep. Good.
Them's the breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, there goes my fish, my comic written by me and my fish.
Well, the weird part is I think the fish would get passed.
Because it's a living thing.
Yeah.
So it can be copyrighted fish.
Well, it's more like how the fish would make it. Like if the fish used his own gills, if the fish is just cutting and pasting stuff,
Dude, now you gave me an idea. Catch the fish, dip him in ink, throw him on the paper, and throw him back.
Yeah, but now you got animal rights issues now against you.
Oh my god. Okay, I didn't mean that. I won't do that.
I'm just saying. So, but yeah, it was an interesting case to follow.
I don't feel scared of it yet. I feel like I really think that it's going to be a technology that is just going to eventually get redeveloped into something else and some other thing that artists have really anything to do with.
Like Photoshop stuff?
Yeah.
Like how, yeah.
I think it'll just be, honestly, some of the, don't get me wrong, the fact that it's, quote unquote easy, like you said, for clients to use it, but at a certain point, I feel like, it will bottom out because there's only so much you can do. Even though they have created something called a prompt engineer, who apparently his job is to talk to a machine. In the end, there'll probably end up being something that artists include in their work in their workflow.
Yeah.
Because I remember people were scared of Photoshop too.
Oh yeah. I always felt like maybe artists will probably just start using that rather than just looking for reference.
Yes, that is what that's what I pretty much feel like they will do.
They'll just be like, oh, okay, these are my, I can reference from these, and then they're just going to go their own way. That's the only thing I can really see it being useful for.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like music sampling. At what point is it original music, or what point is it just you talking over somebody else's music, right?
My problem with it is, right, if AI can take and leech from other people's social media and art pieces that they did, i.e. you guys as well, right? Comic book covers, comic book pages, everything, and it can sample from there and create a mash-up, a photo bash of a bunch of photos. Why aren't the artists getting any remuneration for it, but you still have to pay for that app?
That's the
No, it's not. That's the big problem for me with that. Like, yes, use my art, that's fine, but then give me a fucking cent from what you're making of that.
That is the argument, and that is the exact legal argument why it will probably fail, because they also so remember Kim Jong-un, who passed away? Apparently within, well, I won't say, I don't know what the timing is, but apparently within a short period of time, AI pretty much were sampling his art and making copies without the family's permission. So to your point, Nathan, that's exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, and that for me is why I refuse to support it, use it. I mean, you can go look up in DeviantArt and you'll find most of those art pieces there, or a variation of it. So it's just a matter of actually go looking for it, or you're asking a computer generation thing to create something for you. It's
the thing that gets me is the artist, quote unquote artist, will show up at cons with that stuff.
Yeah.
The audacity.
The audacity, yes.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's scary, and I see now in the tattoo industry, there's also a company that's now been using that Dream AI or whatever the apps are, and then generating these tattoo ideas of also mashups of other people's work, and you can see it, and then they're selling it to people to go get it done by other artists. And I feel like, where's the line of like creativity gonna end in terms of now anyone can just do it? Type in what you want and there's your comic book page, exactly like that. And I'm glad that it got ruled that you can't.
I mean,
basically capitalize from it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, this goes back to the fact that honestly, the arts, music, and writing, honestly, there's a weird lack of respect that it doesn't count as a real job.
Yeah. Well, I get that for hairdressing too, though.
Yeah,
Anything where you work with your hands, right?
Yeah, anything creative, it's not counted as a real job, because it's like you make a piece of art, it's like, what can we sell it for? And I'm like, or that kind of thing. So when this came along, it's like, well, we can just take the artist out of it, until they realize you really can't.
Yeah, I would like to do a collab with a bunch of you dudes where you guys help me do a set of comic book related tattoo designs. We all like collab on it, and I do the tattoos, and we split those things that come in, but therefore we all get like a bit of a boost in social media and stuff like that by going into different platforms. Because like looking at that Sabertooth, dude, fuck, I would love to tattoo that shit out of that thing.
Oh, thank you. This that'd be the closest I could ever get my skill to actually being a tattoo artist. Because what you guys do is difficult.
I think most of you guys could definitely make it.
Oof.
Thank you.
It's just learning a new tool. That's all, right?
Yeah,
that's all it is.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Tattoo artists have always been magical to me. Because, well, it goes back to
erase.
Well, yeah, that too. But I ended up a while back. I read a book from Japan. They talked about tattoo culture in Japan.
Yes.
and just like the build up for it, and then like I ended up sitting in on the session, and I'm sitting there going, "That is amazing." And it's like there's no doubt in the art. There's no question in the work. It's just like they go all in and they finish it all.
Yeah.
I feel more confident in tattooing than I do sitting here drawing with you guys. In 100%.
So, but yeah, I always thought like tattoo artists that is a special. You got to be that's a special gift right there to be able to pull that off.
To be a good tattoo artist.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I know you meant that already. It was.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So.
There's a lot of tattooists out there, not a lot of tattoo artists.
That's actually that's the most accurate way of saying
Everybody off tomorrow from their regular jobs, or they're working?
I got some freelance work I need to finish, and I'm a software developer, so I got some crap to do.
Oh, so you're a tech nerd like Stefan too, then?
Yes. Although I think he has more. I think he has more fun at it than I do, though.
I don't know. After he helps me out and deals with me and that, he probably doesn't. But
I work tomorrow. Like I got to draw when I get home afterwards.
Yeah.
But Sean, my question, I asked this when I was offline. I asked this, you have anything coming up after war college?
Oh,
that you can talk about. I'm sorry, that you can talk about.
Oh, I mean, besides just finishing the hate and
your Kickstarter.
Oh, that should be. I got 3 more days. Yeah, that should be set. Because I mean that book is finished, like it's drawn, colored, lettered, so that's ready to literally go to the presses as soon as the Kickstarter is done.
Which one's that? Mention it. You got 3 days, you said.
Oh yeah, sorry. So right now, there is a live Kickstarter for It's Nana the Were Spider, and that is a story I always wanted to do because I already always enjoyed the creator and the writer.
Yeah, hot mess.
Yes, and I always wanted to draw as Nana for him, but I don't think he knew it, but he approached me at some point. Like, I don't know, like
hella blow your writer.
Yeah, and this guy's like an incredible writer. And he was I always wanted to do something with African mythology. And he was definitely working in that world with this Nana, and so he pitched me the story about like Isnana going against all these other like African Asian mythological gods, and I was just like, what? There are other gods in it too? And I was just like, yes. I think like I started immediately doing like character drawings of Isnana. Just because I was really, really excited to get in on that, and it was his absolute dream drawing that book. It's about 30 long. It's in the it's it was just incredible. It was just incredible.
Have you read the comic, the Norse mythology one from Dark Horse? It's the Neil Gaiman one.
No, I wanted to though.
It's pretty good. The book's pretty good too, yeah.
It's I think it's between Norse and African is probably my favorites. Like it's not that I hate Greek, it's just that I'm so like so much. Yeah.
Everyone talks about it.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thing too when I got burnt out on it.
I was just like, oh yeah, Zeus does this. Okay.
There are whole essays about Zeus's antics.
Yeah. I'm just like, And to the point of like, you start to hate him, like start to hate Harris. Like, how many times you gonna let this guy cheat on you? And
Yeah.
And he's like, but baby, I wasn't a
But
human.
she was also like,
don't
yeah, I don't care. He's my brother. What the fuck ever? I'll go fuck someone else.
I'm just saying, it
Yeah.
don't count if you're not in human form. I don't think it counts.
yeah, it's like, I was in ghost form, babe. And it's
I was a shower of gold. It don't count.
yeah.
What, golden showers? What do you? This is a family show here.
I mean, you're not wrong though. That's the thing.
I mean, he's into some wild stuff, but
he's into a lot of stuff. You gonna walk past that one?
It's just like it's talking about.
How did this show take a turn?
I don't know.
Started talking about Zeus.
Then it would switch to R. Kelly.
Oh man.
Stories. Oh.
No comment.
Yeah, right there with you, brother.
But yeah, it's just like Greeks were like I just couldn't believe it. Like, and some of them just seem so.
I think Netflix did a recent Greek one where he kind of got his comeuppance for his behavior. It's not. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not good. It's not bad. If I can remember the title of it, I'll shoot it to you. But it was it was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, as long as somebody.
Yeah, they do. They do pretty badly.
There's
y'all let this man be leader of the gods.
There's a new book out this week. I think it's from Mad Cave. I might even have it right here. No, it's called Hunt, Kill, Repeat, and it's about the Greek god. Zeus comes back down to Earth and reclaims it all and everything. He's just tired of the way humans are, and then then it goes back onto like modern life, but now they all worship him again. And there's this one, his daughter Artemis has kind of gone into human life now, and he finds out she's pregnant and summons her back and ends up killing her, killing the husband and killing the baby. And she's in a coma for 10 years. You guys should check it out. It's a good book.
Yeah. Okay.
He murked everyone?
Everyone?
Yep.
It's old-fashioned Greek god right there. It's just like,
speaking of Greek gods, have you ever seen have you read Greek Street? It's a comic.
No.
God. It's by David I can't remember, I'm sorry, I forget his last name, but basically it's a retelling of the Medea story in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
It's pretty well done. It's definitely worthwhile reading. In regards to storytelling.
Can't. Is DC or
DC?
published?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got 3 trades right now. Like I said.
Oh. I vaguely remember that. God, I was interested in it too.
I mean, the artist on it is really. I like his stuff a lot. It's I think he's Italian. So David Gianfelici. That's his name. David Gianfelici, I believe. I know I'm butchering it, so I'm just gonna apologize to the man now. But here's a question for everybody. If you're still reading, are you still reading mainstream stuff?
Yeah.
Because I realize I have stopped doing a lot of mainstreams. It's mostly
I read everything and review it for my show every week.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you like to know?
No. Because like most of my, I realize that a lot of the stuff I buy are usually like either anything international or a lot of the independent stuff.
Yeah, I cover very, very, very much heavy indie stuff because I like the indie stuff, and that's what I like to produce as well too. But I cover Marvel and that as well too.
Yeah, but I just realized I'm having more fun reading like stuff that like Kickstarter dudes do, Kickstarter cats do.
Mm-hmm.
And And then of course, like, depending on the manga artist, and then definitely a bunch of European artists, like the one I showed you.
The last two prestige size books that Aftershock put out were pretty awesome, actually.
Oh, okay.
The one that just came out last week, All Day, All Night. It's like this this house that has like a never-ending party in it, and it's like a maze also too. It's really cool. And then there was one a few weeks earlier about this guy that moves into a house, and it's like there's something always has a rotting smell in the walls that only he can smell and nobody else does, and it kind of just drives him crazy.
Okay. The one thing I got from Boom, I think I remember was I got they did Damon with Brian. No, it wasn't. I think it was them. It was. I'm sorry, it wasn't Boom. It was someone else. But they did Damon with Brian Stelfreeze. It's the black and white version of the book, which Sean will tell you I prefer black and white books to color. No offense to the colorists and painters.
I mean, you learn more as if you're an illustrator.
Yeah,
black and white art.
Yeah, and his black and white stuff is kind of amazing. So, and because you get to watch like how he uses the blacks to tell the story, which I mean he does the same thing in color, but it's easier to learn for me in black and white. So
sometimes it's cheap, and like with American comics, like they sometimes rely on colorists to kind of flesh out the illustration more. Kind of bad because I think some colorists hate it because it's like you're leaving them to guess, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna put this down. It's just gonna have to work,
Don't some writers though usually like go, this is what we're going for, and the colorists use that as inspiration? I mean, like the great writers.
Yeah. Writers that have more like they have a better vision of what they want. Just putting words down, and like there are writers who are really visual, and then there are writers who are really idea driven. And the ones who tend to be a lot more visual, they're a lot more purposeful in how they describe stuff and pass, like when the editors like pass the work back to them to show them what's going on, like they put in a lot more notes. So just to make sure that things are being told the way they need it told. It tends to be writers who are artists as well. Like they may not be hired to do art, but they're artists, so they draw for themselves at least. So,
I got a question for you there, Sean. When you were doing work for the War College book there, did you do some work and then have to go back and ever change stuff ever because you showed them stuff and they asked you to do something a little bit different, or did you get free reign all the way through, or?
Rarely was asked to change complete like panels or anything. I think the most I ever got to change was like just somebody's hair, because I was just like, it's a difference between like deadline hair and like hair I prefer to want to draw. And I just went on and put down like, okay, I'm just gonna put down deadline hair, and hopefully, the inker will love me, but hopefully it'll be acceptable. And they were just like, do what you want. And I was like, oh really? So I was like, yeah, go crazy. So I was like, yes. But I think that's about it. That was the biggest change I did. I think like because it's such a like the deadline is looming in everybody's head, especially the editors, so they don't want to change huge amounts of stuff. They kind of want you to just kind of get it going.
Right.
Like I still send thumbnails to them and stuff like that, just so they know like how things are gonna go.
How close are you to the writer?
Like I don't bother them and contact them too much unless I get like stumped on something I'm reading. I will show them pages I've drawn though, just to make sure I'm understanding what they're writing, and they'll give me feedback on it and stuff like that. And usually it's like usually the editors would prefer to go ahead and like get your pages and show it to the editor and stuff like that, because they don't know if you two even know each other or would even tell if you met. So usually they're always a go-between, but I always like just contact them like on social media and be like, hey, what do you think of this?
Nice.
And so far it's been good though. Like any kind of feedback has been really good. So
like, how did did you just Marvel approached you and say, hey, we have this project you want to work on, or we want you to work on, and here's the story of it, and here's the writer, or like how do you find out about this? Like, what do they tell you beforehand? Like,
yeah, because this kind of goes back to how I even started working for them, which I don't really know how I started working for them, but because I wasn't like sending any portfolio work at the time anymore. Like there was a time I was, and I was getting like test pages to do and stuff like that, but I was doing so much indie work because the comics thing had kind of become like a second job. So I was just like doing a lot of independent work and working with a lot of writers and stuff. And so I was just like, I couldn't make the time to do any of the test pages. Like it was to the point their friends were asking me, "He's like, you ever gonna do those Marvel test pages?" And they'd be like a year out, and I'd be like, "Oh, I guess not." But eventually they contacted me like randomly out of the blue to do like a short story on Marvel Voices, and then it was a Luke Cage story, and it was like a really short 4-page Luke Cage story with Jose Anderson, and that apparently it got we did it a little too well, because they were like, okay, well, look, we want to do more with this.
Okay.
So
did I get expanded?
It got expanded. They were going to do like a 3-issue miniseries, and then they got canceled right when like literally the first issue was done, and they were like, I think I'm pretty
in hindsight,
I'm pretty sure like it was probably because like they were concerned about like the this is when what's his name, the Rittenhouse trial was going on, and I think they were.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I do remember what the storyline was supposed to be. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think they were like, because even the writers were just like, look, we're concerned with how people are going to like approach you and stuff like that. For doing it, because it was literally a story that kind of surrounded police killing of a young black man, and then Luke Cage is going to help the mother bring the policeman who did it to justice, but then this clandestine corrupt institution hiding inside the police start to take notice and try to stop them. But
I mean, it sounds like a good story.
It was. I think it's
time sensitive.
Yeah, it was time sensitive. I think people were getting worried about what they thought it was going to be. It was going to be a whole bunch of like F the police stuff in there and being like super political and super. I was just like, no, it was a really fun action-packed story that
Yeah, being a Disney company, Marvel doesn't want to ruffle anything, right? So
I do
No,
forget. I do forget that sometimes.
yeah.
On the comic book side, not the movie side.
right, yeah.
But yeah, I think they had gold like with the story. I was literally drawing issue 3. I was almost in the middle of the book.
So in a situation like that, like, do you get paid still? Like, how does that work? Like,
yeah, they go ahead and pay you.
you just get
They're
paid
like,
straight up beforehand, like before the project's
um,
even done, like a contract type of thing, or is it pay as you
usually,
go? Or
usually it's when the book's done. There are occasions where they just kind of pay you for what you turned in.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Um, but
Are you allowed to do anything with those pages, or did you just turn them in?
oh, just turned everything I drew in. As far as like the original artwork, I still have that, and I
Okay.
just haven't had the heart to like sell it off or part with it yet.
would you be? Are you allowed to sell that off?
Yeah.
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 So is that up in your site as well?
No.
Luke Cage, the lost saga.
It's the thing is,
Lost
like, every
page.
time, like, 'cause I watch it, I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that, and sometimes channels, I read watch a lot of comic related stuff, and sometimes there are channels that come up and still talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
and some of their opinions are a little controversial. So I just was like, why is this still controversial? But
I know for a
but
lot of people, they wanted that story to come out, not because honestly they were happy with YouTube as an artist, so they were like, "Cool, I can't wait to see it," and then it went away. So
yeah,
it's kind of like Firefly.
yeah, yeah, they got a lot of heat for canceling that book. They still kind of do sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it happens. Like I kind of made peace with it. I was like, this is their character. Like they
Mm-hmm.
can literally do with it whatever they want. I'm glad I was at least, hired to even do it. Because I never thought I would do any work for Marvel, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was in a place where I was doing a lot of indie work. I had pretty much given up on doing like any more test pages and stuff like that. So I was just like, man,
It's like
I don't think
love. As soon as you
tomorrow.
stop looking for love, that's when you find it, right?
Yeah, exactly. We found love in a hopeless place.
Look
Um,
at you.
Thanks.
me. But I only know that song because it plays at work constantly.
Fucking
Oh
every
yeah, right. You were probably bobbing along at the Super Bowl there.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my god, I used to hate it so much. Now I'm just tolerant, and it just pops into my head randomly when I don't want it to.
My favorite is Christmas when Santa Baby comes on.
Oh yeah,
that song haunts you.
yeah. It won't let you go. But yeah, and plus I'll work with Hoche again. Like we talk pretty regularly. We are figuring out another story together that we'll just do ourselves, and Hoche still works for Marvel, so I think he's writing and drawing something for him right now. Even though I don't think he wanted to draw it, I think he was just trying to write. But I was like, do it. That's two checks. Cash.
what you want.
All right, I gotta wait for that to dry.
Nathan, what did you tattoo today? What was your tattoo you were doing before you came on the show tonight?
I did some freehand flower add-ons on a big full leg sleeve with like a leopard, and it's a big piece. Strong lady. Yeah, I had a bit of a neck spasm at the moment. I couldn't do so much time on her like I wanted. to carry on this soon enough.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta get in those awkward positions to get in there, eh?
Yeah, dude. Sometimes. I can make your hands clap.
Yeah. I will say I do enjoy TikTok tattoo artists.
Yeah.
You
They
get a
are great.
range. Like you get like
Yeah.
guys like you who are like straight professional, and it's just like this is my stuff. Tell me what you think, and then you get the showman. I call them the showman.
Yeah. Like I don't know where they get time for that, dude. I honestly don't know. Like I've tried doing reels like that. Like mine is the more like there's the reveal, there's the piece, have a look,
Yeah.
cool, happy, go lucky. But I don't know where the fuck they get the time to make all these videos. I have all these ideas and then I'm sitting there, oh shit, yeah, I'm busy doing a 5-hour tattoo. When the fuck am I gonna film this? No, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I take my hat off to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely another skill to have.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
I always get well, I won't say I won't get upset, but when I host, I'm not allowed to bid on anything here, and I really like the Doc Ock one. I mean, I love the Sabretooth one too, but I'm a Spider-Man fan, so the Doc Ock is looking pretty awesome.
I appreciate that.
The book looks
And
beautiful.
I love the way you were how Phillip was putting the sparkles and that on the monster, because I do the same thing when I make little D&D minis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you
I
right
don't
now,
use a credit card though. I just use my finger, man. But I guess
Whoever's
to be an
buying
artist,
the
you gotta use a
Sabretooth-
credit card.
Yeah, whoever's buying the Sabretooth, contact me afterwards, please.
No, I forgot people were supposed to bid on these. I actually have to thank the stream a lot because this is a lot of the reason how I got back into drawing traditionally again. So
yeah, no, same. It's helped. And you guys, like just watching you guys, I go afterwards and then I go watch just you guys paint, and fuck, dude, it really does help. Gives me a different perspective of how you guys do it, how I do it, how it can be done, how it should be done, even sometimes. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys doing such fucking stellar work.
oh, thank you, man. I'm trying.
Oh man, that was almost like a digital hug.
Yeah. In my mind, I'm just like, man, I'm just trying not to mess up hands.
Dude.
All the time.
Well, I went from a guy that tuned in to watch the show because I started working with Justin. He got me doing the exclusives with him to talking and hanging out with Stefan all the time. I do like multiple channels with him now, and now I'm actually honored to get to run the show every once in a while. So, yeah, this show has done a lot for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say this for me. This made, like I said, made me remember drawing as fun. Because there's like I said, there's a while there, especially when not to get too maudlin, when I ended up in a hospital for some health stuff, and drawing just seemed to be like kind of one of those, I guess the best Chris for it probably is like a luxury.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got life stuff to deal with. I can't be drawing all the time.
It's I guess looking at it in a way it could be looked at as a luxury. It's just
it is not, my friend. Considering how much it costs to keep as a hobby.
Yeah.
You sir who work at an art store knows that struggle.
Yeah, no, it's absurd the price. it's like why is this one brush $20? Like I don't.
And why am I about to spend that $20?
Yeah.
Because
And then you still need paint after that.
oh shit. Yeah.
Oh, paper too.
Okay, that's late enough. Okay. But yeah, what was it? I remember one time I was at the store, and there's like, I'm trying to compare paper to see which is the right one for what I want to do, and I'm there for like 20 minutes, and I'm going, I've been here trying to ascertain what the best paint is. Best paper is for what I want to do. And then I just ended up buying them both.
Yeah.
Have you ever done something where like you've done a great piece that you're super happy with, and you're like, oh man, I wish I would have used that other piece of paper instead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the best Wolverines I painted in my life is done on fucking normal printer paper. Sucks.
I think the bad part about me doing digital for so long, and then the work was that I became like, whenever I did do traditional, I became like really pompous about what materials I use, and it's like, no, it has to be this type of paper. It has to be Strathmore 500.
You was
yeah.
You was fancy.
Yeah, I still kind of am, because this, like, the Marvel board is like, this is super fancy. Like, this stuff is, I think should I even say this? I don't even know if people know, but the Marvel board is basically just Eon comic book board.
Ooh.
Like that's who fulfills the orders.
Oh man, you might not work there anymore.
Yeah. And it's but the Eon board is like, I even went to the website to buy more of it because I loved it so much. But it was now I can't even start drawing like without, like, I'm drawing on a heavier version of this stuff that I bought from Eon. So
I want to show you guys two sketches that turn out to be like two of my favorites that I've done in my life.
Oh, that's great.
Holy shit. Wow.
That was before the movie came out, so I didn't really have any Joker reference. I used a photo of him on a talk show and then just added the makeup of what they showed.
Dude,
but that's on printer paper. It's like on stupid.
What is that, with marker or watercolor?
It's watercolor as well. Gouache and watercolor.
Oh man.
And then the Wolverine one.
Oh, it's popping.
Was that the one that was on regular copy paper?
Yeah, that's both of them on regular copy paper.
I'd be so mad if I put that on regular.
I know. Sitting going, man, you killed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can you scan that and do like a nice print onto some good paper and it would still look good?
I think I still can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get that done and put it on my stock.
That's nice.
So we make mistakes, right?
So why did you do those pictures? You were just practicing and it happened to be a wicked picture?
Yeah, I was busy practicing it to do it on comic books, on blanks, on the Joker blank, and the other one was for Wolverine, Return of Wolverine blank.
Okay.
And then when I practiced it, it just came out so cool, so I finished it, and then I was like, fuck. And I didn't even want to do it on the comic books anymore. I was like, nah.
Don't you hate that? It's like, it's just practice, but you go all in on it, goes, huh.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Yeah.
How'd I get here?
Wasted 6 hours of my life on printer paper.
But now you sound like Allen Iverson. Practice? We gotta practice?
I do remember that comment. Like, dude, you are not setting a good example for anybody.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, we got about 10 minutes left. So why don't you guys once again go over all your details, where people can find you, what kind of projects you got coming up, so people can support them, because that's what it's all about. Who wants to go first?
I guess we can go. Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's Sean Damian Hill. My website is SeanDamianHill.com, and yeah, that sounds so pompous. Anyway,
You gonna have to let that go, man. You gonna have to let
yeah,
that
I got to. Besides, issue 2 of Bishop War College should be out on the 15th,
Yeah.
15th of this month.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watches
And
my show. I'll review it again for everybody to see.
awesome. And yep, it's none other Were Spider. Drums of the Yogam are still live on Kickstarter for the next 3 days.
Put my money in.
Oh, I appreciate it. Please back that book. It's like one of the, besides Bishop, like this is like one of the funnest books I've drawn since like. Well, no, I had a lot of fun drawing to Hate It, and I drew a really fun story for.
This was hella pretty. Like, it's a good story and hella pretty. That's what you want to say. That shit.
Yeah, it's like what I always wanted to do. It's like African mythology. Like, come on. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
And because you are so modest, the artwork from the first issue of Bishop War College is up for auction, or not for auction, up for sale on Sean's site. So do check it out, guys.
Oh yes, that's right.
You need somebody for your promo work.
Yeah,
You need a Stokely Carmichael.
I do. God, where's Cody Rhodes when you need him? It's just
All right. Who's next of you fine gentlemen?
I guess I can go.
Okay.
I mostly stuff to find me on cons. I'll be doing Blurred Con in June, or you can, and for real life stuff. But you can find me on Instagram under Phillip JP 24601. Instagram Phillip Jean-Pierre. And most of my stuff is on there. I got a couple of books for sale in regards to like on demand. So just, drop me a line and I can shoot you some. Most of it's just artwork and concept stuff. But pretty much if it's a social media except TikTok, I'm on it. Just look up my name.
Yeah, I'm not on TikTok either. And don't worry, everybody you see on the show tonight is going to be up in Winnipeg in October.
I really would not mind doing that, man. If nothing else, I get to go to Canada.
That's true. October it could be crazy. It might be stormy, but I'm pushing for it. And Nathan, not me, you. Why don't you give your information?
You guys can find me on Instagram at NathanPhillips_art. Or you can find me in Colorado Springs at Full Muros Tattoo. I'm there 6 days a week, most of the days. Follow me.
How far in advance are you booked for your tattoo work?
At the moment, I'm booked till June, July.
Damn.
That's great, man.
That's amazing.
I mean, he is super talented. I mean, look at that.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not arguing that.
No, I agree.
I'm not arguing that point.
Yeah.
So I'm not arguing that.
It is my first Doc Ox. I'm glad you guys like it.
No, I love it. It looks great. Yeah. It makes me think of the Bashima Doc Ox. What's an average length for your tattoo there, Nathan? Like you said, you were working on a 5-hour one today. Is that pretty average, or is it?
Yeah, that's about an average time, I would say, for big pieces. Smaller pieces are like 2 hours, 3 hours. It depends all on what you want to get and what type of detail you want to put in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
has anyone ever? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. One more question. Do you just charge by the piece, or do you charge by the hour?
I charge by the hour.
Okay.
Yeah. I do.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I know everyone asks you this. Has there been a piece you were just like, no?
Yes. There's a couple of pieces that I don't like doing stuff, in my opinion, that's like bad juju. If I feel it's a bad juju, I'll pass it on to someone else that will do it. And other than that, I'm pretty open to anything. I'll try and convince you that your idea is a bad idea if I feel it is a bad idea.
Okay.
But if it's something dope and it's cool and I can work with it, then I'll definitely do my best to make it yours and make it a one of a kind piece. That's kind of my goal these days. It's like take what you want, but make it a one of a kind.
Has there ever been a piece that just intimidated you? Just like, I mean, you did it. Don't get me wrong, you did it, but you just sit there going, "Holy shit!"
Every time, like, okay, so with every tattoo, and I suppose it's like with the drawing here tonight as well. There's like a point in the sketch where you feel like, oh fuck.
Yeah. It's like that with a haircut too. Yeah.
Every time he's like, oh shit, what did I do to myself? And then you get past that point, and then it's like 99% done, and you're like, damn, that's why I did it. That's why. And I think it's the same with tattooing these type of drawings. There's that breaking point where either you're gonna push yourself or you're gonna like step away from the piece for a little bit and just pull yourself towards yourself, and then
can you elaborate a little bit on what you meant by bad juju? I know what you meant, but KC wants to know what you meant.
Okay, so for me, bad juju would be anything that I feel could invoke evil or a bad vibe towards me. If I feel like it's like an instinct, almost like a spidey sense. If it
like
makes
a karma thing, right?
Yeah, if it makes the hair on my back of my neck stand, then I'm like, okay, that's not the tattoo that I should be looking at. Because for me, it's very much, and this might sound like very weird, but it's almost like a blood magic type of vibe when it comes to tattooing. It's very much your mood will portray in the tattoo and the client's mood, and all these things play a big part. And if you still want to go and put something that's gonna, it's the law of attraction. If you're gonna put something that's gonna attract bad stuff on your body permanently, I mean, that's each to their own, but I'm not gonna be the person to put that on.
No, that makes sense. And it's not just in that tattoo, it's in all forms of art and that too. I mean, hair, painting, music even too, right? Cooking. Like
I've had commissions where I was just like, no, I can't do that one.
Yeah, I shan't.
I haven't gotten a weird yet, but I'm super like careful what kind of.
Or it might just go against your own views or values, right? Like I'm sure no one's gonna sit down in your chair and say, "Hey man, can you do a KKK Klan guy on my back, please?" Right? I mean, I'm sure you're just not gonna do it, right? So like,
I actually cover a lot of those tattoos.
Well, yeah, you're getting rid of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sorry,
part of a group called Redemption Inc. That people that want to redeem themselves, that have maybe hate speech or different types of things on them. We try and help these people out if they're sincere and true to what they want.
That's awesome. It really is. Although I'm not gonna lie, my favorite one I've ever gotten that honestly I probably should have said yes to, but it was a little too weird. And it wasn't anything. First of all, you saw it wasn't a sexual one. It was just a guy wanted this. He was and this is no disrespect to anyone who does it, was a furry.
No.
And he wanted something, and it was just, and it wasn't that it was like I said, it wasn't sexual at all. It was just weird.
Yeah.
And it was no, and
it made you feel uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's no disrespect to anyone who does it, like to each his own. But for me, I was just like, I'm not sure I'm the one for this one, brother.
Not today.
And it's another great way to end another show. I think last time we
that's my bad.
Yeah, I think last time we ended it on a weird note too. So, all right, everybody, it's been a blast. Everyone's art here does look amazing. When you guys are done and everything, just send all the details to Stefan, and he'll get the auction info up for everybody. Everybody who is watching tonight, or if everybody who someone who is interested in one of these fabulous pieces, just tell them to check out the Things Are Getting Sketchy Facebook page in the next few days, usually up by Tuesday or so at the latest. And then all the money does go straight to the artist. So thank you, artists, for coming on tonight. It was great to meet those of you tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. It was very cool meeting everyone. It was also good seeing Sean, my arch rival.
All right. You guys stick around for a second. I'm just gonna end the stream.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
All right, guys. See you next week.